today I'm talking a little bit about step 2, which is refine your business plan. That's kind of the title of step 2. We started with assessing your business and assessing the CEO that they're ready to scale, that it can scale. But the business plan goes to step 2, and this is a big one. This is important. And some of the parts of the business plan that I think are super important, we've got vision, goals, pricing, margins, all this kind of comes into the business plan and the financial scorecard and profit. Profit's pretty important. As I was taught at a very young age, profit's not a 4-letter word, Jeff. I'll never forget that. Profit is kind of what makes a business tick and makes it to where you can earn a profit, and it's in our name, grow my profit. So, what I really want to focus on step 2 today, though, is pricing and margins. So I'm going to give you an example. So I have this ad agency, and we do junk mail, the stuff you get in your mailbox. We literally design, print, and mail junk mail. That was my business. And that business in 2021 did $40 million in sales and made $16.9 million in net profit. I mean, that's almost like Kobe Bryant money, right? Kobe Bryant was making $20 million a year. I'm like, crap, I made $16.9 million this year. This is amazing, the business did. So how did we generate that kind of revenue, $40 million, but more importantly, the pricing and the margin to net profit, $16.9 million. That's almost like 40% net profit to the bottom line. That's after paying the $500,000 payroll, buying all the paper, buying the data, buying the envelopes. I mean, I'm just going to look at my most recent business that I sold and had a nice 8-figure exit on, and talk a little bit about pricing. So, we would sell direct mail advertising. Let me just say that we would sell 10,000 letters for 65 cents a piece. So our price was $6,500. You could go down the street to all my competitors and buy almost the exact same product for $4,500. So why was I $6,500 and they were $4,500? That $2,000, we call that profit. We were more money. That was pure profit. Our price was high, and we justified the price through added value, and I'm going to talk about what that added value was, specifics. But if we're making $2,000 extra profit on every order, and you talk about $6,500 order, well, now look at my revenue was $3.5 million a month in revenue, times, I think our gross margin got up to around 70% at the final last year or two of that running that business. Our margins kept going up because we were selling at a high price. So I will tell you that most business owners are working off too small of a margin. They might be working off 10, 20, 30% margin. Most businesses cannot make it on that small margin. Most businesses need to be at 50, 60% margin to ever make it. And that's important. We were sitting at 70. We didn't start that way though. We probably started our business at 50% margin. So if it cost me $1 to make it, I'm selling it for $2. That is 100% markup. People get confused of markup and margin. That's 100% markup with a 50% margin. So you got to be really clear on your margins in business. If it costs me $1, I'm selling it for $2. That's where we started the business. And then eventually I said, hey, if it costs me $1, I'm going to sell it for $2.50, $2.50. Now I'm at a 60% margin. So how we got to 70 was really not, we did increase the price a couple more times, but what I really did was with my volume, I was able to cut my expenses by signing large contracts, buying paper cheaper, buying data cheaper, bringing it in-house instead of outsourcing it. So there's a lot of tricks to increasing the margin as far as cutting costs. But a friend of mine told me many years ago, Jeff, if you set up to go into business to do the volume instead of the margin, you'll go out of business in the process. And I was like, wow, I can't think about, we're going to do this huge volume and make money someday. No, we need to make money today. So our margin was 50%. We took it to 70%, and that's when the business crushed it, and why we sold for a huge amount of money, because we had good margin and good net profit. That's what it's all about. So we're going to talk to businesses about adding value to their business, and I'll give you a couple specific examples of things I did in my business. So if you go out to your mailbox and you get a letter in an envelope, and you just look at like your mortgage coupon is in a letter and envelope, that's what I did. Print a letter, fold it up, put it in an envelope and mail it. I think we were mailing 10 million letters in the final year, 10 million letters a month out of our little mail shop and outsourcing. So everybody can print a letter and shove it into an envelope. The $4,500 vendor looked identical to me at $6,500. So how did we add value? Number one, I trained my sales staff on consulting the customer on what kind of letter to design and what kind of data they should mail it to get the highest response rate. So I was $6,500, they were $4,500, I was 30% more, but when they bought the product from me, I would generate 50% more response rates. So on a cost per lead, I was actually cheaper than the competition that was 30% less in cost when they bought the product. So the ROI on advertising was higher with me. But a couple other things we did a partnership with Google where we took a picture of every house in America. Google has a library of pictures of your home from Google Maps. So we actually took a picture of your house, and I would print a picture of your house and show it through the window in the envelope. So when you got this junk mail at your house, you'd look at the envelope and there'd be a picture of your house shown through a window in the envelope. That would get you curious to open it. So we got a higher open rate and got a higher response rate. So we added Google image technology to direct mail, and we were the only one in America that had that product. That's what helped us justify 30% more in cost. People loved it. They're like, that's a cool thing. I bet that's going to work for advertising and direct mail. So Google Images, pictures of the house was a big deal for us. We were able to go up on price. I think that cost me like $100, and we went up and sold it for $500. So 80% margin, on little add-ons. Another thing we did is most people would say, hey, what's the phone number for your office? We're going to put your phone number on the letter. You're going to get 100 phone calls. Well, we went out and leased a toll-free phone number. That toll-free phone number had a website where you could watch the calls come in. It recorded all the phone calls so you could re-listen to your loan officers or salespeople that were taking these calls. And our recorded phone line offered training for our clients so they could go back and train their sales reps on how to better answer the phone calls, how to say more intelligent things, how to fire the people that weren't converting leads because they were doing a horrible job on the phone. So our direct mail became a training ground by adding these toll-free phone numbers, trackable, recorded phone calls, emailed to the client every day. So those are two examples, Google Images, pictures of your house, the phone number. Those are two things we added on to our product that made us be able to sell it for 30% more. And it was almost all profit. It cost me $50 for the phone number, $100 for the Google image. I'm selling that package for $1,000 more. Now I've differentiated myself from the competition. And when people call us and go, why are you $6,500 and your competitor's $4,500? Now we had a reason why, and we could justify it. And when they bought our product, it worked well. So those are some things when we look at business planning that we're going to look at in your business. What can we add on to your product to differentiate you from your competition? What can we add on? What other services? We're sitting at my wedding venue. I'm doing it at the wedding venue. Hey, when you buy a wedding at Hawk Ranch for $25,000, we include the wedding invites. So the invitations are going to go out. And because we're doing your wedding invites, you're not going to waste money buying food for people that aren't going to show up. We're going to track who's RSVPing to your wedding. So instead of paying for 120 guests and having 90 show up and having to throw away 30 plates of food that cost $50 a plate, so we're doing it at the wedding venue. We're building websites for brides so they can see their website. And people can RSVP to the wedding on the web. So we're doing it at Hawk Ranch. I did it at my direct mail advertising company. I did it at my mortgage company. We're gonna help you do it. If you don't add on some products and services to your existing products, if they're boring or it's competitive, which what's not competitive in this world today? Everything's got major competition, fighting over price. If you don't have fat margins, your business is not going to do well and you're not going to make a lot of money. So we're going to help you do that. That's part of step 2. I specifically spoke about margins and pricing. I think I'm going to do one more little segment on the business plan that I think is super important. So stay tuned for the next video and visit Jeff at growmyprofit.com. That's my email address, or just growmyprofit.com. You can watch a ton of videos and content of some things that'll help you grow your business. So thanks for listening.